why we don't speak up in life and or business. So not speaking up holds us back in so many different ways, especially in a society, if you will, where everything is about self-expression. So if we are not standing up and speaking up, we are losing opportunities, we are losing connections, our life is literally being held back. Now, I know this well. Being a photographer and a videographer for over 10 years now, I have worked with so many different people in front of the camera and from behind the camera. And I found that I got to a point in my business where what I did wasn't good enough anymore. People wanted to know me. They wanted to know who I was, what I stood for, and why I was doing what I was doing. And that meant standing in front of my camera. Now, don't get me wrong, this was not an easy journey because, like everybody, those thoughts came up for me as well. What if people don't like me? What if they don't respect what I have to say and then I'm judged and attacked and accused because of it? But mostly, what if they just don't get who I am? I'm not your average entrepreneur and I'm fine with that, but what if they don't get that? So I had to do a lot of inner work to get to the point where I am comfortable standing up on camera now. I can do presentations, not a problem, jumping in front of the camera, I just go for it. I have multiple YouTube shows because it just becomes natural and easy once you follow the process. So my journey of personal growth went through 3 distinct phases, which I have found applies to every single person who is learning to go on the journey of standing up, speaking up, and truly being heard in the world. Now, those 3 phases are self-awareness, radical self-love. I'm not talking bubble baths here, I'm talking radical self-love, and of course, courage. It was through these 3 steps that I discovered why I wasn't speaking up authentically, why I wasn't being true to myself, and what I had to actually do to then express myself and all of who I am without reservation. So, I want to talk about 2 things to start with. There's 2 reasons why we don't speak up. One's a positive and one's a negative. So the first reason that we don't speak up, being a positive thing, is that we're actually allowing others to learn their lessons themselves. So I've got a story for this one. My daughter is fiercely headstrong and I love her to pieces for it, but she is the type of person who must learn the lessons for herself. Whereas I am quite comfortable with hearing someone say something to me, going, okay, I get it. If that happens, then that's what will happen for me. So I won't do that. For my daughter, she must experience it herself. So when it comes to putting her uniform on correctly for school, it doesn't always happen. So while I can say to her, while I can have the courage to speak up and say, hey, you've got the wrong uniform on today, or you're not wearing the right socks, or you're not wearing the right shoes, I know she's not going to learn from that. She doesn't learn from what I have to say to her. She has to experience it. So I have chosen not to speak up when she does these things and to allow the natural consequence of getting in trouble at school be how she learns that lesson. So that to me is a positive thing, that not speaking up is allowing her to learn that lesson. But why we don't speak up in general comes from fear. Fear more than anything else. And I've mentioned those fears already. It's the fear of people misinterpreting who you are and what you stand for. That fear that people aren't going to love you or like you. And that's really, really big fear that people aren't going to respect what you have to say and are going to judge you and socially attack you as a result. So you've really got to work through those fears in order to stand up and speak up with courage, without fear. But to do that, you've got to go through those 3 steps: self-awareness, radical self-love, and of course, courage. So if you're one of those people who's stuck in those fears right now, if you're still fearing, what if they don't like me? What if they don't respect me? What if they don't get who I am? And it's just leaving you stuck, confused, and maybe a bit overwhelmed as to what's the next step, so you can speak up with courage. please reach out to me. We can do a free 30-minute mentoring call. I can work through all sorts of different things, whether it's business or life, depends on where you're at. And what I'll do is give you 3 personalized steps to help you move forward with courage and purpose. Because I want you speaking up in the world, because what you have to say is important and it needs to be said. Love and kindness, my friends. Mwah.